We've all been there, right? Part of a team, a committee, some organization, full of really smart, well-meaning people, but it just can't seem to make a decision. It just gets stuck. Well, today's explainer gives us a really powerful language to figure out exactly why that keeps happening. Okay, let's dive in. You know, it's got to be one of the most frustrating things in our work lives. You've got a clear goal, you've got all the right people in the room, but you're just stuck in this endless loop of indecision. So what is going on here? Why does this happen again and again?
So, this feeling, this gridlock, it's just so common, isn't it? We see it in meetings that go absolutely nowhere and in projects that just completely stall out. But what's actually happening under the surface when a group gets paralyzed like this?
Well, the key to understanding this whole mess of paralysis really comes down to one single fundamental distinction. It's the difference between two really important ideas, authority and constraint. And trust me, getting this right is everything.
Think about it like this. Authority is the person in the driver's seat who decides the destination. They say, "We are going to the city." Simple. Now, constraints, those are things like traffic, how much gas is in the tank, or maybe a road is closed. They are real, they are super important, and they absolutely shape how you get to the city. But, and this is the key, they don't get to decide if you go to the city.
So here's the line in the sand. Governance fails at the exact moment a constraint, like, say, the fear of hitting traffic, stops being just a piece of information and starts making the decision for you. The moment it tells you, nope, you can't go to the city at all. That's the moment legitimate authority just vanishes.
And it turns out, this kind of failure isn't just random chaos. It actually follows 5 very specific repeating patterns where a constraint just improperly takes over the driver's seat. The source material calls these the 5 failure invariants. So let's walk through them.
First up, we've got capital substitution. This is what happens when the very real constraint of money stops being a factor in the decision and becomes the decision maker itself. It's when the mission gets shoved into the back seat by the budget.
And you've totally heard this one before, right? The budget is a real constraint. Of course it is. But in this case, it has become the thing that vetoes a decision that might actually be perfect for the group's core purpose. The money is making the call, not the people.
Next, we've got liability substitution. So here, the constraint isn't money, it's the fear of some future risk, a potential lawsuit, bad press, you name it. This ghost of a future problem becomes so powerful that it just paralyzes any real action in the present. Again, risk is a totally valid thing to consider. It's a constraint. But when the mere possibility of something bad happening later acts as a complete veto now, preventing a decision that everyone in the room actually agrees with, well, the constraint has just seized authority.
Number 3 is volume substitution. This happens when the loudest voices in the room, or sometimes just the sheer number of complaints, are treated as if they are the legitimate authority.
You see, the number of complaints, that's just data. It's a constraint to be aware of, but it is not a verdict. When a group lets the volume of noise override its own established rules and its own best judgment, it is basically just handed over the keys. Okay, number 4 is moral substitution. And this one's really slippery. It's when someone declares an issue so morally obvious and so urgent that it shouldn't even be up for debate. This tactic uses this appeal to a higher righteousness to completely shut down the actual process of judgment and deliberation. It basically bypasses the group's authority by claiming a higher moral authority, and it tries to force a single outcome without any real discussion. And finally, number 5, process substitution. And you know, this one might just be the most insidious of them all. It's when doing the process becomes the goal itself, instead of the way you get to a goal. The group feels really productive, right? Because they're forming subcommittees, they're conducting reviews, they're holding consultations, but an actual decision, it never gets made. The process, which is supposed to serve authority, has completely replaced it, creating this permanent state of going nowhere. So if these patterns are so distinct, why are they so dang hard to spot in the moment? Well, it's because they are masters of camouflage. They look like responsible behavior. And this right here gets to the shared DNA of all these failures. I mean, look at this. Nobody is trying to be the bad guy. Being worried about money or risk or what people think, it seems prudent, right? It looks like good governance. And that's the trap. That's the camouflage that allows them to quietly extinguish authority without anyone even noticing.
Now, the point of identifying these patterns isn't to offer some simple cure-all. It's really to give us a lens, a diagnostic tool, just being able to name what's happening, to be able to say, hey, wait a minute, this feels like process substitution. That is the critical first step to taking back control.
This is it. This is the core takeaway, the single acid test for any decision. Just ask yourself, is this piece of information shaping how we do something, or is it deciding if we do it at all? Because if it's the second one, governance has already failed.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have this language, capital, liability, volume, moral, and process substitution, take a look around. Take a look at the groups you're a part of. Which patterns do you see playing out? Because just recognizing them, that's the first step to finally getting unstuck.